I remember the first time Dad and I discussed accents, and funnily enough, following on from Wayne's very kind introduction there, it was about the time, I suppose I was about 16 years old, and I was walking into the kitchen in our home in North Wales, and I had just started my final year of GCSEs, I suppose, my final year of high school, before moving on to A-levels, and I came into the kitchen and I started complaining because I just had my classes set out, and I stormed into the kitchen, and for some reason Dad was there. He's never in the kitchen normally. He must have been fixing something, or no, you don't fix things either. And I say, oh gosh, it's so annoying. I've just had my new school schedule, and I've got double German with Frau Schmidt.
What?
Oh, hey Dad.
Yeah.
I was just saying, I've just come back from school, and I've just been given this new double German school schedule, and
sorry, Ben, what did you just say?
I don't think Frau Schmidt is her real name.
Ben, what did you just say?
I've just got my new school schedule.
Your new school schedule?
Yeah, my new school schedule, and I've got double German, and...
Ben, schedule. Look, you just heard it a few seconds ago from the presenter. Schedule.
That's what I said, schedule.
No, schedule.
That's what I said. I just said, what are you I just said schedule.
That's how it started. That's how it started. The end and the beginning of a beautiful relationship.
You could hear his heart breaking slightly.
Because that was the first time I'd ever heard Ben say schedule. In fact, it was the first time I'd ever heard any young person in Britain say schedule. And I wondered where it had come from. Because Ben had never been to America, apart from a little visit to Disneyland once upon a time. And we didn't have any American friends in our company.
Well, it is a small world, after all.
And it's a small world.
You got it. Yeah.
And it wasn't just him, you see, because his friends were all saying schedule as well. Whereas I, in the slightly older age bracket, was saying schedule. So I was curious. I mean, I wasn't being critical. I would never dare criticize his accent, not for one moment.
But you were fascinated.
I was fascinated.
Straight into the language lab with me. Battery of tests.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I wanted to find out where it came from. So the obvious answer is the media. The media has an extraordinary influence on the way in which we hear accents for the first time, pick them up, repeat them, copy them, satirize them. I mean, here's the perfect example. You all know how pirates talk, don't you?
Ha-har!
Yeah? When did you ever meet a pirate?
Ha-har!
Yeah? Have any of you ever met a real pirate?
Ha-har!
No. Nor around the world have any of you met a real pirate, but you all know how pirates talk, and it's a bit like that. And so the media gives you that stereotype of how people talk. And so I thought, well, I better look at the programs that Ben was watching in those days. He must have picked it up off the telly.
No, just to interrupt here. Normal people, i.e. not my father, would perhaps go and watch a little bit of TV. They'd watch a couple of episodes of Friends or The Simpsons or any other programs that I watched when I was a teenager. Oh, no.
No, that's not enough.
Every single script
of Friends I read to find out whether the word schedule was in there. Just for the first series, you understand, life is short. Life is short. And do you know this? This is your academic talking, you see. Do you know this? There isn't a single instance of the word schedule used in the first series of Friends. So it couldn't have been Friends that he got it from. Well, that's just the beginning of a slippery slope, isn't it? Now, well, what other programs was he watching? And I now start, it must be The Simpsons, therefore. No, The Simpsons don't use it either. And in the end, I do track it down. It was, for example, used many times in Northern Exposure, wasn't it? That was a series you... So there were plenty of instances where he obviously picked it up, or he got it from his friends who were watching the same sorts of things. And that's one of the interesting things about accents. And that's one of the reasons why, when we did this book called You Say Potato, that we did it together. Because no one person can write a book about accents. And one of the big problems for teachers, I think, is that any teacher, by definition, is in a particular age range, has a particular age and a particular background. And you think you know it all, because I think I know it all because of my age, but actually we need a generation gap in order to be sure that we're thank you. to be sure that we're covering all the options. That's very important. We can never rely entirely on our own intuitions when we're talking about, heck, language generally, but accents in particular, because accents change so rapidly. And the other thing you have to remember is that accents are very, very widely inclusive, where when you define an accent technically, what are we talking about? We're talking about the vowels and the consonants, of course, and we're talking about the intonation and the rhythm and the tone of voice and the voice quality of everything. And it's in this particular domain of voice quality in relation to accent that Ben sometimes gets into trouble.
It's funny, I mean, you know, the combination of everything that Dad just talked about, I understand it all, but from such a different standing point, because I have spent a lot of my acting career taking on different accents. But I very, very, very rarely have used the International Phonetic Alphabet to do so. You know, the combination of our work in that Dad would often use phonetics and phonetic annotation, and I just sort of have always tuned in to accents, and it's one of the things that was taught to me in drama school, that you have to sort of pick up particular accents if you want to get particular types of work. Like, for example, it's important to be able to speak in received pronunciation, which Dad, I'm sure, will talk about a little bit more shortly, to speak Shakespeare. And it's very, very useful to be able to take on different accents if you're going to do voiceover work. Dad said earlier about how, you know, we get so many different impressions about accents from the media.